They will never tell you where greatness begins. They'll sell you fairy tales of overnight success, of destiny delivered on silver platters, of heroes born already crowned. But listen closely. Nothing real is born in the spotlight. Power does not arise in applause. Purpose does not scream for attention. The strongest souls, the most unbreakable wills, they are forged in silence, in suffering, in the dark corners where no one is watching. The path to power begins in the shadows. Not because the light is evil, but because the light is earned. It is reserved for those willing to endure what others cannot see. It is not found, it is built, one decision at a time. One defiant act in the face of despair, one whispered promise to yourself when the world turns its back and doubts your name. This is not the path of the comfortable. This is not for those who seek guarantees. This is not for those who are still waiting for permission. This is for you, the one who knows there is something greater inside, the one who senses the pull of destiny, even when the weight of reality crushes your chest, the one who refuses to die with their music still locked inside them. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But here's the truth they don't teach in schools. Your why will never come looking for you. Purpose doesn't knock on the door and ask to be let in. It must be hunted. It must be bled for. You must walk straight into the wilderness of your own confusion and carve it out from the rock of your resistance. You were not made to merely survive. You were not designed to follow the script written by frightened men. You are here to rise, to burn, to become something no one saw coming. And that journey, the becoming, it begins in the place most people run from, the silence, the solitude, the shadows. Because the shadows are where your demons live, and it is only by facing them that you find the truth. Your greatness is not buried under comfort. It is buried under chaos. And until you learn to find strength within the storm, you will always be a slave to it. Let me be clear, the world owes you nothing. It doesn't care how hard your childhood was. It doesn't care how many people betrayed you, abandoned you, doubted you, and it certainly doesn't care how many motivational quotes you've read. What it responds to, what it is magnetized by, is the force of will. It is moved only by the man or woman who says, "I will build what does not yet exist. I will become what no one thought possible." But you don't start there. You don't wake up powerful. You start broken, fractured, confused, angry, full of questions. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. The shadows are not punishment. They are preparation. They strip away your illusions. They humble your ego. They introduce you to the real battle, the one within. You begin to realize that your greatest enemy is not out there. It's not your job, your circumstances, your critics, or your bank account. It's the voice in your own mind that whispers, "Who are you to dream so big?" Kill that voice. Starve it. Silence it. Replace it with a roar so loud it drowns out every ounce of doubt. Because the moment you decide that you are the author of your life, everything begins to shift. When you stop asking for permission to pursue your purpose and command your future instead, the world begins to rearrange itself around your conviction. But it starts in the dark. Always in the dark. That's where clarity is born. Not in the rush, not in the noise, but in the lonely nights when your eyes are red from effort and your hands are raw from building. That's when your soul speaks. That's when vision begins to crystallize. Vision is not given. It is constructed in silence. It is sculpted in the hidden hours when no one sees your struggle. It is the reward for enduring what most will avoid, for saying no to the distractions, the temptations, the endless noise that wants to pull you back into mediocrity. Nietzsche wrote, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties." And the truth is, most people never follow those threads. They never chase the invisible. They only trust what they can see, status, money, attention. But destiny is not found in what you can grasp. It is found in what pulls at your soul when the rest of the world sleeps. That whisper, that aching, that's not random. That's your call. Ignore it, and you will suffer in quiet misery, always wondering what could have been. Answer it, and you will suffer too. But the pain will transform you. It will forge you. It will burn away the weakness and reveal something terrifying and divine, the real you. You must stop waiting for the world to see your worth. See it yourself. You must stop begging for direction. Declare it. The most powerful force on earth is a human being who has decided who they are. And here's the paradox they never explain. To find yourself, you must first lose yourself. In the grind, in the silence, in the chaos of creation, your comfort must die so your conviction can live. That is the price of greatness. Thomas Edison didn't discover light because he feared the dark. He lived in the dark, experimented with it, failed in it thousands of times, but he never stopped. Because the light, his light, demanded that he keep going. The same is true for you. Whatever greatness burns inside you, it will not emerge because you want it. It will not arrive because you think you deserve it. It will only rise when you bleed for it, when you walk through the dark valley and keep moving, even when everything in you screams to turn back. The pain you avoid is the path you must walk, because discipline is born in discomfort. And destiny bows only to those who dare to suffer with purpose. So suffer well, suffer with eyes wide open and a heart that refuses to quit. Because every step you take in those shadows builds the kind of strength that no applause could ever give you, the kind of self-respect that no shortcut could ever provide. And eventually, when you've walked long enough, suffered long enough, believed long enough, you begin to see it. A flicker, a glow, the faint outline of the life you were born to build. And when it comes into view, you do not hesitate. You run toward it like a lion tasting blood. Not because you are desperate, but because you are ready. You are no longer the one who waits. You are no longer the one who hopes. You are no longer the one who wonders. You are the one who builds. Because now you understand. Power is not inherited. It is forged. Not in a boardroom, not on a stage, not in the validation of the masses, but in the furnace of your own relentless will. The world will try to tell you to slow down, to be realistic, to settle. That purpose is a luxury, and greatness is reserved for the lucky, but you weren't born to blend in. You weren't made for safety. You were born with fire in your veins, not water. You can feel it, can't you? That pull in your chest. That silent scream that refuses to die, even after all the disappointments, even after the rejections, the heartbreak, the betrayals. It still burns. That's not delusion. That's destiny. You are being summoned. And the summoning doesn't come with fanfare. It comes with resistance. Because what is calling you will first test you. It will strip you of your excuses. It will isolate you. It will force you to ask the hard questions. Who am I when no one believes in me? Who am I without the noise? Who am I when all I have is my own conviction? And that is where power begins. Not in what you have, but in what you decide. Power is not a possession. It is a posture, a stance, a vow whispered in the dark. I will not break, I will rise, and when I rise, I will never bow again. The great ones, the true titans, they all began there. Lincoln, orphaned by loss and weighed down by failure, stood alone more times than anyone will ever count. But he kept walking. Carnegie, born into poverty, turned coal dust and hardship into steel empires. Why? Because they understood the secret. You do not wait for the conditions to be perfect. You create in spite of the conditions. You do not ask life to be fair. You become so dangerous, so valuable, so undeniable, that life has no choice but to make room for you. And to do that, you must leave behind the identity the world handed you, the child of doubt, the slave of fear, the echo of mediocrity. Bury it. Mourn it if you must, but bury it deep, because the version of you that you are becoming has no use for that corpse. From now on, your name will be written in action. No more talking about what you're going to do. No more performing inspiration like a circus act. Power respects movement. Power bows to those who build, and it only follows those who lead themselves first. There will be days when the weight feels unbearable. There will be mornings when your vision is fogged with fatigue and your heart is heavy with doubt. That is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are close. When the resistance grows, it means the old version of you is dying. And death is never clean. It's messy, it's chaotic, but it's necessary, because the phoenix doesn't rise until the fire has done its work. The new you, the one who speaks with conviction, moves with purpose, lives with clarity, That version is being born in the very pain you're trying to escape. So lean in. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about alignment. It is the act of honoring your future self in the face of your current emotions. It's saying, I'm tired, I'm angry, I'm broken, but I will show up anyway. Because who you become is not defined by how you feel. It is defined by what you do in spite of how you feel. That is the edge where champions are carved. The soft-hearted world will call you obsessed. Let them. The small-minded will say you're crazy. Let them. The comfortable will call you arrogant. Let them. Because what they call obsession, the greats call standard. What they call delusion, you will one day call reality, and by the time they understand, it will be too late. You will already be undeniable. But understand this, even when you arrive, you will not be finished. Purpose is not a destination. It is a discipline. And once you find it, once you embody it, it demands more from you, not less. You will lose people. You will outgrow places. You will sacrifice comfort, sleep, security, because when you are aligned with your destiny, everything that is not aligned will begin to fall away. That is the cost. But the reward? Peace. Not the peace of numbness, but the peace of knowing you are exactly where you are meant to be. Fire in your chest, steel in your spine, eyes locked on the horizon, heart anchored in a cause greater than yourself. Nietzsche wrote, "Become who you are," not as a suggestion, as a command, as a war cry, as a declaration that your life is not a passive event, it is a battlefield. You are not here to survive it. You are here to dominate it, to shape it, to bend it to the shape of your will. So if the shadows still surround you, good, that means you are on the right path. If the world still doubts you, good, that means you have not yet revealed your full power. If you are still aching, still grinding, still waking up with fire and fear tangled in your chest, good, that means you are alive. And the universe only trembles before the living. Keep moving, because no matter how dark it feels, you are not lost. You are being refined, and soon you will no longer need the light to see, because you will become the light. You will become the light, not for applause, not for validation, but because it is who you were always meant to be. The world does not need more echo chambers. It doesn't need more carbon copies, more people quoting truth they've never lived. It needs originals. It needs warriors. It needs people who have bled in silence and still chose to rise with open hands, not closed fists. You were not born to mimic the herd. You were not called to repeat what came before you. You were born to redefine the standard, to live with such focused intensity that the mere presence of your being challenges others to wake the hell up. But that kind of presence is not built through information. It is built through transformation. Books will not save you. Coaches will not save you. No guru, no podcast, no quote can walk the fire for you. At some point, you must look into the mirror, into your own eyes, and decide that this is the line where you stop living small, the line where you stop apologizing for your hunger, the line where you stop making excuses for why you're not who you were born to be. Because the truth is brutal, but it's also liberating. You are the only one who can save you. And that's a gift. Because it means you don't have to wait. You don't have to be chosen. You don't have to be perfect, prepared, or pedigreed. You just have to decide that no matter how heavy it gets, you will not retreat. That no matter how lonely the path becomes, you will not lower your standard. That no matter how loud your doubt screams, you will act anyway. Because power is not the absence of fear, it is the refusal to be ruled by it. And hear this, you will not always be motivated. You will not always feel inspired. There will be days when everything in you wants to quit, when it feels like the world is laughing at your efforts, mocking your vision, spitting on your name. Good. That means you are dangerous. That means you are doing something real, because the world only mocks what it fears. And make no mistake, it fears a soul on fire. It fears someone who cannot be bribed with comfort, cannot be seduced by distraction, cannot be bent by opinion. Be that. Be the one they don't see coming, the one who turns silence into fuel, setbacks into steps, shadows into sharpening stones. Because resilience is not a personality trait, it is a decision, and purpose is not a feeling, it is a vow A vow to become the version of you that only you can see, and to live in such alignment with that vision that the world has no choice but to catch up. You want greatness? Here's what it costs: your comfort, your excuses, your fear of judgment, your addiction to being liked, your need to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. Burn it all. Because what's on the other side of that fire is freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want. The freedom to become who you are, fully, without apology, without hesitation, without restraint. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. Edison was called a lunatic. Ford was laughed at for dreaming of a car for the common man. These weren't lucky men. They were obsessed men. They weren't waiting for permission. They were dragging the future out of their imagination and forcing it into reality. What's stopping you? Is your fear stronger than your calling? Is your past louder than your future? Is your comfort more sacred than your conviction? Because if it is, then stop now. Go back to sleep, blend in, die slow. But if it's not, if something in you won't shut up, if something in you is still breathing, still clawing, still reaching, then you already know. The path is brutal, the shadows are long, the nights are cold, but you are no longer the one who needs light to move. You are no longer the one who flinches. You are the one who builds in silence, rises in defiance, and speaks in thunder. Because you are not here to fit in. You are here to take up space, to carve your name into the stone of history with bloody hands and unshakable resolve. And when people ask how you did it, they won't understand. They'll say it was luck. They'll say it was timing. They'll say you were born for it. But you'll know the truth. You were forged for it, in the shadows, in the silence, in the suffering, where no one clapped, where no one saw, where only you knew what was coming. And that is the essence of power. The essence of power is not noise, it is certainty. It's the way you walk into a room without saying a word and the air shifts. It's the way you speak with precision, not volume. It's the way your life becomes proof, not just a pitch. But certainty is earned. You don't wake up with it. You build it, piece by piece, sacrifice by sacrifice, decision by decision, in the dark, while the rest of the world sleeps, doubts, or scrolls past their destiny, one distraction at a time. The world is filled with people who dream loudly but act quietly. They post, they talk, they fantasize, but they do not move. They are prisoners of the same cages they built with their own hesitation. But you were made for movement. You don't need more motivation. You don't need someone to hold your hand. You need a mirror. You need to stare into your own soul and remember who you are. You were born with vision, not for trends, but for truth. That quiet, relentless image you see in your mind, that empire, that impact, that level of power, poise, and presence you've only glimpsed in flashes, it's not fiction. It's instruction. It's not a fantasy. It's a command. Your destiny isn't waiting on the economy. It isn't waiting on your friends to support you. It isn't waiting for more confidence, more credentials, or the right time. It's waiting for your commitment. Because your life right now is the sum total of what you've tolerated, what you've accepted, what you've settled for. And if you want to change it, you don't need a miracle. You need a standard. Standards are sacred. They are not suggestions. They are laws you write for yourself and refuse to break, not even when it's inconvenient, not even when it hurts. Winners don't negotiate with their vision. They don't dilute their purpose just to fit in. They walk alone if they have to, because they understand that legacy is always lonely in the beginning. But that loneliness, that silence, it's not punishment, it's alignment. It's the universe clearing the noise so you can finally hear yourself think. It's the stripping away of shallow friendships and empty routines so that all that's left is truth. And the truth is this: you are powerful beyond comprehension. You are capable of levels of greatness your family has never seen, your friends have never imagined, your current environment cannot even process. But to step into that version of you, you must stop living like a spectator. This world is not your classroom. It is your forge. You don't need to study success forever. You need to start creating it. With your hands, with your voice, with your hours, your habits, your hunger. Action is sacred. There is no substitute for it. Every time you take a step toward your destiny, the world shifts. Just a little. The energy around you reorganizes. The path becomes clearer. The resistance shrinks in the face of your relentlessness. But if you hesitate, if you stall, if you retreat back into analysis and doubt, nothing changes. And then another year passes. Another year of shrinking to fit a life you've already outgrown. Another year of drowning your potential in distractions, pretending you're working on yourself when you're really just avoiding the work. Not anymore. From this day forward, let your actions speak with thunder. Let your schedule reflect your mission, not your moods. Let your habits match the weight of your calling, because if your dreams don't scare you, stretch you, or threaten your comfort, they're not dreams, they're delusions. You were not given a vision just to fantasize about it. You were given a vision because it's possible, but possibility means nothing without pursuit. So pursue it, with violence, with precision, with tenderness and fire and tenacity. Become so obsessed with the future you're building that the past has no grip left on you. The pain, the failure, the shame, let it all burn. Let it become fuel. You don't owe your past anything but your progress. Every setback was a sharpening. Every betrayal was a filter. Every dark night was a call to remember the light inside you. So move. Before the world hands you another excuse to delay your greatness. Before your own mind talks you out of it one more time. Move. Because power is not found, it is claimed. And you do not claim it through theory. You claim it through execution, day by day, hour by hour, rep by rep. No witnesses needed. Let the results speak. Let the results speak. Because in the end, that's all that matters. Not what you hoped for, not what you promised, not what you posted, but what you built, what you became, what you left behind. Legacy doesn't come from attention. It comes from intention. The intention to rise when it's easier to fade. The intention to endure when comfort calls you back. The intention to stay faithful to your vision, even when the world forgets your name. Do you understand what that means? It means you must stop looking for guarantees. There is no map. There is no savior. There is no safety net on this path. There is only you, naked in your ambition, raw in your struggle, divine in your will. That's where destiny begins. Not in a moment of glory, but in a decision made alone, with shaking hands and an iron soul. And still, you rise, because your destiny doesn't care about your fears. It doesn't wait for your confidence. It moves for those who move first. You have to decide that your future matters more than your doubt. You have to choose to become what you've never seen, what you've never been taught, what the people around you may never understand. That is the burden of the rare, of those who carry vision in a world addicted to distraction. But that is also your greatest advantage, because you are not common. You were not built for repetition. You were not built for the default life. You were built for dominion, the power to command your space, to take responsibility for your existence, to leave fingerprints on time itself. But to access that kind of power, you must embrace endurance. Not the endurance of the body, that's easy. The endurance of the spirit. The endurance of waking up every day and saying, I will not stop, even when nothing is working, even when no one claps, even when your own mind becomes the battlefield. That is when the greats are born, in the void. That vast silent space between the work and the reward, where there are no guarantees, no applause, just the sound of your own heartbeat asking, will you keep going? And if your answer is yes, if you keep showing up, keep striking the rock, keep pouring fire into your craft, then one day, and it will feel like a moment, but it was years in the making, the world will break. The wall will crack, the flood will come, and everything they once ignored will become the standard by which others measure their lives. They'll say you were born for this. They'll say you were lucky. They'll say you had something special. But you'll know the truth. You had the audacity to keep going. You had the nerve to walk through the fire and come out brighter. You had the discipline to master your fate one unglamorous step at a time, because that's what greatness really is. It's repetition of purpose. Every single day. Not when you feel like it. Not when it's easy. But when it matters. And it always matters. There is no moment wasted when it is spent in alignment. There is no step meaningless when it's taken in devotion to your destiny. There is no suffering pointless when it is transmuted into power. But don't get it twisted. You will be tested. Your commitment will be questioned. Your strength will be doubted. Your mind will scream for escape. But you must remain unmoved. Because the deeper your roots, the greater your reach. And you are not here to be ornamental. You are here to be unshakable, like an oak in a hurricane, like steel forged in pressure, like truth spoken into chaos. This is not about becoming better. This is about becoming who you are. And who you are is not soft. Who you are is not average. Who you are is not afraid to lose everything in pursuit of something eternal. Because your soul remembers. Your soul knows that this life is not a game, it's a gift. One that must be spent, not saved. Lived fully, not half-heartedly. Given everything you have, or not given at all. So don't just survive your life. Seize it. Don't just chase your dream. Dominate it. Don't just talk about purpose. Embody it. Because the path to power is not a highway. It's a mountain. And you will be scraped. You will be bruised. But you will also become something unrecognizable to the person you used to be. And when you look back from the summit, not just victorious, but transformed, you will understand. The shadows weren't your enemy. They were the birthplace of your becoming.